What is up, clean freaks and filthy friends alike? Filthy Dan coming at you for a very special film discussion. Today we're taking a look at Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, which aired on the NBC network on October 28th, 1978. It was the screen debut of all the members of Kiss, Gene, Paul, Peter, and Ace, and was billed to the band as being A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles meets Star Wars. The way this film turned out hardly resembles either, but is a fun little watch if you're a Kiss fan, generally. I don't know exactly how many people outside of Kiss fans would really get a kick out of this film, but fuck it, we're reviewing it. Meant to have this done yesterday, but at the last minute I kind of realized it was the anniversary, so that didn't work too well. Anyway, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park stars Kiss, of course, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Peter Criss, and Ace Frehley, and also stars Carmine Carity, Deborah Ryan, and Anthony Zerbe. Now, this film follows Melissa, played by Deborah Ryan, as she is on the search for her missing boyfriend, and they were planning to get married and all that fun stuff. You know, your typical fun 70s weekend. And he goes missing at the park, and she winds up turning to the band Kiss to help her find him. And meanwhile, Mr. Richards, played by Carmine Carity, fires the inventor / animatronics creator, Mr. Devereaux, played by Anthony Zerbe. And Devereaux decides that he's going to seek his revenge and destroy the park from the inside. And that's what he seeks to do. He also really despises Kiss, because, you know, that was kind of the thing. You either loved Kiss or hated them in the 70s, and he was on the hate side. Fucking bastard. Anyway, he creates these animatronics of Kiss, starting with a Gene Simmons animatronic that wreaks havoc in the park and injures a couple security guards. And so they decide to kind of look into the band, and it's also worth mentioning that Kiss are superheroes on the side here. Yes, this was the height of Kiss Mania, where they were larger than life, so it only made sense for them to be superheroes in this film. Yeah, basically it takes place over the course of 3 nights, and Kiss kind of have to put on their Sherlock Holmes boots and do some investigating, figuring out exactly what Devereaux has planned. And they have to they wind up going through a series of events, fighting off different androids. It's really quite exciting, actually. At least when I was a kid it was. It's still just a fun guilty pleasure watch today. You know what? Fuck it. It's not even a guilty pleasure. I proudly watch this film every now and again. But yeah, I'd say one of the best fight scenes, and none of the fight scenes are really that great anyway, because you could tell that it is not the members of Kiss. There are clear usage of stunt doubles. We'll talk about the stunt doubles in a minute, but there's one fight scene where they're at the base of a roller coaster, and there's like these white gorilla fucking things, like they're like cat gorillas, and they're just climbing the side of the fucking roller coaster track, I guess. And they're just fighting these things. They're really limber and fucking... They find the best way to defeat those is by knocking their fucking heads off. And, I don't know, it's a really cool fight scene. It's stupid and it's fun, you know? One thing I really like is a little one-liner that Ace Frehley drops in that scene. Is when Paul Stanley knocks the head off of one of those, Ace is all, they all lose their heads over you, Paul. And it's like, yeah, that's just fucking stupid. I love it. I love every little bit of stupidity in this film. But yeah, they have to fight these kabuki ninjas that are also androids. And one of the better fights also is when they go to the Chamber of Thrills, which is like the haunted house attraction at the Magic Mountain. And they're fighting these animatronics of like Dracula, the Wolfman, a Hunchback, the Mummy, Frankenstein's monster, and it's a lot of fun there. And like at that point, because they've been flawlessly getting through the other animatronics, at this point Devereaux found the way to drain their powers, which is through use of the talisman. And yes, the talismans are something I should have mentioned earlier. It's basically a little red box. It's got these little tokens that are basically the source of Kiss's superhero energy. And without those, they're just ordinary human beings. There's a cosmic force field that protects the talismans. But he finds a way to break through that protective force field and just diminishes their powers. So they're starting to get their asses fucking handed to them in this one. And he finds a way to suck them out of that and essentially holds them captive and sends his Kiss androids to go and play a show in which they remix and just totally rewrite essentially a Kiss song called Hotter Than Hell as Rip and Destroy. I know the Kiss fans will know exactly what I'm talking about here, but at this point they're trying to get the people in attendance to eventually just start a riot and destroy the park. That's Devereaux's grand scheme for that. And of course that would, one, destroy Kiss's reputation, destroy the park, and he wins, gets the last laugh at the end of the day, right? But now Kiss managed to muster up enough energy to regain their talisman and then approach the fake Kiss bots for a fight scene that is essentially Kiss versus Kiss. Yeah, that fight is just fucking loads of fun to be had in the film. This is another point where you could just see the stunt doubles like in full force. When you have Gene versus Gene, you know the real Kiss versus the fake Kiss at this point. Because, like I said, these stunt doubles are fucking obvious and a lot of noticeable little things to look at. But of course the real Kiss wind up winning, and they end the show with Rock and Roll All Night, and they go to confront Devereaux one last time. And here's where the film's ending gets really confusing, because you got Deborah Ryan as Melissa down there. She's talking at Mr. Devereaux like, "You gotta let Sam go, please. You're a monster. You're a bastard." She doesn't say bastard because it's a TV movie in the 70s, but she's yelling at him, and Mr. Richards is down there, and like Kiss come down, and they're talking about how brilliant Devereaux was, and how he can't hear you now. He had a great mind, wasted potential, and all that. All that cliche villain stuff. And Mr. Richards goes to turn him around in the chair, and Mr. Devereaux is dead, it seems. Like, he's just aged greatly. Like, the ending doesn't really make a lot of sense. I still don't get it even after 20 years of watching this movie. I still don't understand the ending of this film, but basically Abner Devereaux lost in his pursuit to destroy Kiss. It was a Hanna-Barbera film, so the superhero element was kind of very important to have. Anyway, let's talk about the acting real fast. The acting by the members of Kiss is just fucking bad. The only one who really had acting chops that I noticed was Gene, and Gene would kind of go on to become an actor later in the 80s. Paul, you could see, wants to be an actor, but he overacts, and like the way they all deliver their lines is kind of hammy for in every possible way. You can make a sandwich out of just how hammy it is. Ace Frehley, I think, was having the most fun. He's laughing at every other line. Now, apparently, what they had happen was they had a script writers or someone just kind of hang out with the guys to get an idea how they talked, to use that as part of creating their lines. And Ace Frehley, being Ace Frehley, he wasn't a very talkative guy. he was just kind of drinking, you know, having fun with the guy, just fucking with him and just going ack all the time, just fucking. So that made up most of his lines, was just ack, calling people curly and just laughing. But yeah, Ace seemed to be having a lot of fun with this one. I don't think he was really all that there for it. Peter Criss's acting, I can't really say anything about it because physically he's there, but when they had to go in to re-record their lines, Peter didn't show up, so somebody else dubbed his voice, and that kind of creates an opinion that I cannot really form for Peter. Anthony Zerbe as Mr. Devereaux was actually a pretty fun performance. He definitely overacted a little bit, playing this mad scientist. He just had a really fun overacting role. Like, when he talks about getting evil, like, he's just chewing the scenery, and he's by himself for a lot of these shots. So, yeah, it was really just really hammy, and he just was alone, and the guy who he shares most of his screen time with, being Sam, the boyfriend, he doesn't really have hardly any lines to deliver in the film. He's walking around as a mind-controlled kind of person. Yeah, just under mind control. So he had to really carry a lot of the film by himself whenever he's on screen. Deborah Ryan as Melissa was just a really sad kind of performance, because you want her to find her boyfriend at the end of the film, and seeing her struggle and searching for him, it's really sad. And I don't know, you kind of get behind her performance a little bit. She was definitely one of the better actors in here. And there's 3 more characters I want to talk about real fast. The first, the security guards in this, they all just did their job. They were just security guards. Nothing too special, but they were interesting. They all wanted to get Kiss at the end of the day, you know, kind of capture them and arrest them, even though they don't have the power to do that. But the 3 characters I want to talk about real fast are these biker thug types who come into the park for the first part of the film. And they're just there being 70s style cartoonish thugs. And that is Chopper, Slime, and Dirty D. Oh, these guys they're basically, you throw on a denim vest and leather jackets and you're a bad guy in the 70s. That's the type of performances they give. They're just tormenting and harassing people at the park, and there's one scene where they actually go in the control room and fucking mess with the speed of one of the rides, which is probably actually the most fucked up thing they do in the film, and they just write it off as being, oh, whatever, you know, and Mr. Devereaux actually gets in trouble for that. But Mr. Devereaux winds up sending them to the Chamber of Thrills, and they all wind up disappearing. That's actually probably the closest thing to horror in this film, actually, is the sequence where the 3 thugs are in the Chamber of Thrills. Because they're disappearing one by one in a very, very dark scene, like, as far as lighting goes. Like, it's poorly lit in there. I mean, it's a fucking haunted house attraction. It's supposed to be dark. But yeah, they're all getting knocked off one by one, and he eventually turns them all into androids, so I guess he killed them. I don't know, logic dictates, I guess. I mean, they're never resolved as being brought back as people, so yeah, they were just fun, campy little thugs to follow in the film. Kind of fun, I guess, whatever. But yeah, you know, it's overall the film was just kind of dumb. I mean, I enjoyed the fuck out of it as a kid, and like I said, I still watch it a lot, like, pretty frequently. It's one of those films that I revisit just because I have fun with it, and it's a nostalgia fest for sure. It does have a nice use of Kiss songs in the film. It plays, of course, Rock and Roll All Night, which everybody knows, and some of us are sick to death of that fucking song. Shout It Out Loud has an appearance. Beth. Of course, the revamped Hotter Than Hell is Rip and Destroy is in there. I Stole Your Love is in there. You could even hear Christine 16 over the park radio at one point. And real quick, I just want to mention the difference between there's a couple different versions of this film. There's, of course, the original TV version, which I got here on the VHS tape by Good Times Home Video. This is the version to watch if you want to watch the original aired version. And a lot of the backing tracks on this one are just that really bad 70s funk pop. Just that with the waka waka guitar sound. That's the score that kind of accompanies the fight scenes. It's fun. And then in this, the Kissology set, we have the I believe it's the European. Yeah, it's the European version of the film, which is retitled Kiss in Attack of the Phantoms. I don't really like that version of the film because, one, they cut a lot of key scenes out of it. Some of Deborah's character development is cut in there. Some character moments with the guards are cut out. And of course, all of Ace Frehley's lines are cut out because this is current era of Kiss putting this collection out. And they figure, hey, fuck you, Ace, we're gonna cut all your lines out of the film. And the only thing that film that this copy has going for it, the European release, is that instead of the funky 70s waka 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 scores, it puts Kiss songs in there, mostly songs off of their 1978 solo albums. So that kind of makes it a lot more interesting in a lot of ways, but superior version right here. I don't know. It's a film that I don't know. As much as I know it has its problems, I can't really bash the film. It's just been something that I've watched for so long that the nostalgia glasses are firmly affixed to the face. But I can recognize that, yes, it is a bad film. It's not particularly well made, but it's not poorly made either. It's just something that's fun to throw on if you're a Kiss fan, or if you're just looking for just something to smoke pot to for 96 minutes. I don't know. It's one of those movies. Just smoke a joint, watch it, and have fun, laugh at the bad acting and all that fun stuff. Yeah, if you're a Kiss fan, I recommend it highly. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you don't like the first half hour of it, don't watch it. But if you don't care about watching garbage, just watch it. It's fucking fun. It's not too bad. I mean, as a regular audience member, I would probably give it about a high take it or leave it, whatever. Yeah, definitely check it out either way. Give it a try. As a Kiss fan, I'm very biased with that one, so... yeah, one thing I'm going to have to do in this one is foregoing the filthy features. Because there's no smut, because again, TV movie. I did say that there are suggested to be kills in the film, but nothing really, nothing explicitly stated. I mean, it's just a fun Kiss movie. It's got some good Kiss songs in it. Yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're feeling extra filthy, go ahead and leave a comment down below. What is your best and worst example of musicians in movies. As always, stay filthy.